Urban Wars.
Device is armed. Repeat, device is armed. Awaiting drop authorization.
This is the story of how an American city decided to solve a neighborhood problem with a battlefield solution. Philadelphia in the 1980s was a city in crisis. Record crime, racial tension, and in the middle of it, a mayor determined to prove he was tough on crime. On tranquil Osage Avenue, in the Cobbs Creek neighborhood, one house stood out, not for its flowers or lawn, for its barricades, for its loudspeakers, for the shouts echoing day and night. This was Move's fortress. Move wasn't a gang, it was a radical commune. They mixed extreme environmentalism, black activism, and total rejection of modern society. And since 1978, they had unfinished business with Philadelphia police. In 1978, a police officer died confronting Move. 9 members got sentences up to 100 years. War was declared, and the survivors swore revenge. Move's new house became an urban fortress. And for the middle class, mostly black neighbors too, it was a daily nightmare. Rats, trash, constant noise. Complaints piled up. In May 1985, Mayor Good approved a warrant-serving operation. It sounded routine. No one mentioned bombs. No one mentioned helicopters. At dawn on May the 13th, 500 police officers surrounded Osage Avenue. Move's response wasn't surrender. It was gunfire. The siege had begun, and it would escalate in ways no one could imagine. Hour after hour, police tried conventional tactics. And hour after hour, they failed. The rooftop bunker was nearly impenetrable. Inside the house, no one knew how many people were there, much less how many children. By 4 p.m., frustration turned to desperation. Someone suggested an explosive device to destroy the bunker. The mayor authorized it. No explosives experts were consulted. No firefighters were warned of the plan. At 5:28 p.m., a state police helicopter hovered over Osage Avenue. From its door, an officer held a 6-kilogram package of explosives. The target, a wooden bunker on the roof of a house surrounded by dozens of others. The explosion was heard blocks away. The bunker disappeared, and in its place, flames. Small at first, but in a 100-year-old wooden house, with barricades that worked as perfect fuel. Within minutes, it was clear, the house was a fire trap. And yet, Moved children had been seen outside weeks earlier. The question nobody officially asked: how many were still inside? The fire didn't respect police orders. 15 mph winds carried embers to neighboring houses. Old wood, wooden roofs, no sprinklers. It was the perfect storm for an urban conflagration. For the first time in American history, a city burned its own neighborhood live on television, and viewers watched, helpless, as 250 people lost everything. By dawn on May the 14th, Osage Avenue looked like a 1945 European war zone. Not Berlin, not Dresden, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1985. And at the center of the rubble, one question: how many died at 6,221? From the rubble, they retrieved 11 bodies. 5 were children. The youngest, Phil Africa Jr., was 13. The only adult survivor, Ramona Africa, with 75% burns, would later say, "They knew the children were there." Commission investigated for months. Concluded, irresponsible decision. But nobody was criminally charged. Mayor Good was re-elected. The police commissioner retired with full pension. Justice, for many, never arrived. While Move and police fought in the media, 250 residents lost everything. Ordinary people, who never chose to be in this war. Their homes were just collateral damage in a conflict that wasn't theirs. Move survives. Members are still imprisoned since 1978. Ramona Africa still gives interviews. The Wound, 40 years later, still hasn't closed, because some tragedies are too big to forget. Philadelphia wasn't an isolated event. It was the first chapter of a tragic triad. Waco and Ruby Ridge would follow the same script: disproportionate escalation, children's deaths, impunity for authorities. As a case study in urban operation failure, Philadelphia is a manual of what not to do. Every possible mistake was made, every safeguard ignored. The result was predictable and catastrophic. Nearly 40 years later, the debate continues. How far can the state go against its citizens? Police militarization only increased. Tactics evolved. But Philadelphia's central lesson remains: when you fight a war at home, your home loses. Philadelphia wasn't an isolated event. It was the first chapter of a tragic triad. Waco and Ruby Ridge would follow the same script: disproportionate escalation, children's deaths, impunity for authorities.
Did you like the story? Subscribe to the channel and give it a like. See you soon.